Hey everyone out there in YouTube land, my name is Carlos and welcome to my channel. I wanted to start a new series talking a little bit about all of the Selena music on vinyl record that I own and sort of reviewing and going through all of them sequentially. From all the ones that I have, I've been a collector for a while now and I don't have everything because, as you can imagine, everything is just super expensive. Especially as the years go on, things just get more and more expensive and actually even harder to find. Especially with this whole Netflix series that's come out recently, it's just caused all of the memorabilia to just skyrocket, and so it's super annoying. But honestly, I've been collecting Selena music for geez, I'm 30 years old. I was born in 1990 and I always have been a fan of Selena for my entire life. I have early home videos on VHS from anywhere from 90 up until like 93, 94, with family parties and things like that with Selena music playing in the background. So I've been a Selena fan literally my entire life until her untimely passing in 95 when I was just 4 years old. And so Selena has been in my life like literally my entire life. And I've been collecting her music for, since I was like 3 or 4 years old, with cassette tapes, with CDs, and everything that came out. We always collected as a family. I mean, my family just loved Selena, so we collected everything. Unfortunately, throughout the years, a lot of the things that we collected just didn't last, or, we got rid of, and then there was streaming services and all that stuff. But once I started to get back into collecting with vinyl records, I started to beef up my Selena collection on vinyl because that is my favorite format of music. I think that vinyl records do stand the test of time. I'll talk a little bit more. I mean, as you can see, I do have some pretty nice, hard to find Selena records. But the first one that I wanted to start off with is actually not even of Selena. It's actually of her father's band, Los Dinos, which I'm sure that we're all familiar with, which is where the namesake of Selena Y Los Dinos came from, which was from her father's group that was started in the early 60s, maybe the late 50s, I'm not sure. I haven't done too much research, and honestly, this is the only album of Los Dinos that I had. And before this, I had never really heard of anything from Los Dinos. I've never seen any of their music and as from a physical hard copy before. So this I actually found just a couple of months ago. I live in Los Angeles, and I found this record, Los Dinos con Esta Copa, at Nerd Boy record store here in Los Angeles. And when I found it, I was like, oh, or oops, sorry, this is a bad word. When I found it, I was pretty excited, and I didn't know how much the shop would sell it to me for. I was like, oh my god, it's probably gonna be hella expensive. I think it had a price tag on it, which I already moved off, but I've seen these go online on eBay and on Discogs for pretty expensive, and not a lot of them were here in the States. So when I saw it, I was like, all right, let me just shoot my shot and just ask how much it is. I don't remember what the price tag said, but when I brought it up to the guy, because it was an old price tag, I don't think it was what the record store had priced it as. He had given me a price, and at that point I had a whole stack of other records that I wanted to buy, and when he told me the price, I was like, okay, maybe I'll pass on it. But then when he saw that I was passing on it, he lowered it again, and I think he sold it to me for either $8 or $12. I kind of don't remember right now, because a lot of the times at some of these record stores, you don't get receipts or nothing like that. You pay with cash, or you're dealing with a dealer, a record dealer. This was, he told me that this was from his private collection. So anyway, a little bit about this record. I believe it's Los Dinos' second record, and it came out in '64, and they had another self-titled album that I believe was their debut that came out in '63. This is on Falcon Records. I'll give you a little bit of an inspection of the record in just a second. It's in okay condition. I'd probably say maybe a very good, maybe not quite a very good plus. As you can see, there's some smudging on the faces of some of the images, and some of the seams are split here. But overall, I'd say it was a good copy. It was a nice copy to find, and it wasn't something that I wanted to pay a lot of money for on eBay or Discogs or something like that. And the joy of finding it actually in person versus using those sites was even more reason to get it. Con Esta Copa is the title track, and it is the track that I'm probably going to play for y'all today, but it's also the track that I believe Selena Y Los Dinos would come to cover on their 1986 album Alpha, which I do not have. It's one of the hardest and most expensive Selena albums out there. So if anyone has a hookup or a connection to that album, I'm still looking for it. I don't want to pay $1,000 for it, but if it's reasonable and it's in good condition, then I will snag it up. But yes, so this is Los Dinos con Esta Copa, and now I'll give you a little bit of a closer look here. All right, so here we have the album Los Dinos con Esta Copa. And like I said, I think this is from 1963, 64. Here's a closer look at the cover. You know, it was sad that some of the faces were smudged. There is the album. Again, this is on Falcon Records. This is probably a record label that was big in Texas, I'm assuming. A nice performance shot there. It looks like maybe they're doing a show or performing in the studio, recording maybe. Here's the track listing here. And then we've got Johnny Herrera there. Here's the actual vinyl itself with the label. And Johnny Herrera is the composer of most of the songs on here. They do some other covers by Jose Alfredo Jimenez. Like I said before, this is probably in very good condition. So we're gonna go ahead and throw it on the turntable now. And just fair warning, my turntable is pretty old. I think it's like from the 70s or something like that. And it needs some tuning work, some grounding work, some speaker work, and stuff like that. So you might hear some snap, crackle, and pop when we're listening to the record, but that just adds to the whole vintage vinyl vibe. So don't call me out for it. Con esta copa y arranco de mi pecho, con esta copa termina mi dolor. Si fueras libre, tal vez tendría derecho de ser esclavo, esclavo de tu amor. Con esta copa me alejo de tu lado. Con esta copa termina mi dolor. Y si mañana me encuentro derrotado, con todo el alma me tengo que aguantar. Yo no lo niego, jugaste con mis penas. So that was Con Esta Copa by Los Dinos. You can clearly hear the influence of like Tejano or Chicano rock that would later influence Selena's earlier sound. And then obviously with her father being Abraham Quintanilla and this being his group, there was bound to be some influences wrapped up in some of the earlier work before she evolved into her own sound. So this was Abraham Quintanilla's group Los Dinos with their album Con Esta Copa. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope my sound system wasn't too bad. So that was it for today's video. I wanted to start out with Los Dinos, and then we're gonna get into Selena Y Los Dinos and Selena as well. I am including all of the records that you see here. I wanna go by era from my collection from what I have. So within the eras, I'm gonna do any 45s that I might have along with it, and then the any singles that came out from that album, and then that album itself. And I'm gonna do it until, you know, I've gone through my entire collection, which, you know, isn't too much, but I think that people who have never seen this stuff before will be pretty excited to see it. Every time I find a Selena album, it's so near and dear to my heart, and there's some of the most prized possessions that I have in my entire collection. So I hope that you all enjoy this video and the videos that are going to come out. If there's anything specific that you wanted to see, you can just tell me in the comments and I'll do my best to try to get, you know, some of that stuff out there for y'all to see, because I know that, you know, if it's hard for me to come across, I'm sure it's hard for some of y'all to come across as well. So please don't ask me if I'm selling anything. I am not selling any of this stuff. Oh, and also, I've never seen the Selena series, the Netflix series that just came out. It kind of started to get a bad rap and stuff like that, and understandably so. I mean, I saw some of the clips here and there, but as someone who lived through the era of Selena and who's still, you know, I'm still here collecting 25, 26 years later, and into my adulthood from childhood, I just have so much Selena memorabilia and like footage of her actual life, and I know so much of that story from firsthand accounts, from videos, from interviews, from the actual music, like literally physical hard copies in my hand and on my record player and in my ears, that I don't necessarily think that I need to watch this series. I'll probably come across it at some point, but I don't have Netflix. So I gotta find some other way to find it and watch it, but I probably will. But anyway, thanks for watching and tune in for the next video. And before I forget, everyone, you can follow me on Instagram at just for the nostalgia. That is my Instagram handle. All the stuff that I'm going to be showing you I've already posted throughout. You know, I post as I buy or as I receive them, so you might have to scroll a little bit to find some of the Selena stuff, but I'm going to try to make it available in one of the options there so you can just see it all in one place. Oh, and before I forget, you can also follow me on Discogs. My username on there is xbrownxclown. You can see in my collection, if you type in Selena, all the stuff that I have there as well. Also, you can see in my want list for all the things that I do not have that are from Selena Y Los Dinos as well. So if you're on Discogs, I'm xbrownxclown. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.